Welcome back to TeamSport Acton for the second round of the 2026 Grid Series Karting Championship. You can see I've qualified third here, directly behind Adonis on pole and KO on second. I get a better start than KO and can grab the inside, but unfortunately I'm too fat to outdrag him up the ramp. So I'm just going to tuck into the slipstream here, try and stay close to him. Unfortunately, as we go down the ramp, he starts to open up a little bit of a gap. And I'm starting to think Kart 11 might not have as much power as I'd hoped. I hit the boost, and for some reason KO lifts very early for that corner. So I dive down the inside, managed to retake the position. I do come under pressure a few laps later, but I managed to keep hold of the inside and defend the position. And eventually we do cross the line in second place. Not particularly good lap times, but thankfully KO and Dom behind were scrapping quite a bit, so they held each other up and let me go. Now, the start of Heat 2 was pretty chaotic. It was a reverse grid from qualifying, so I was third from last. You can see Mr. Blue Suit up ahead, very unhappy with the contact that has lost him a couple of positions there. And there's plenty more contact on this opening lap as Adonis dives down the inside directly ahead of us. You can see Mr. Bluso goes wide there, and I think that's Maurizio who's been put into the wall there. He's allowed to retake his position, but on the restart he collides again with Mr. Blue Suit, who are clearly not happy once more. I think by this point I've managed to muddle my way up to fourth as the red flag is brought out. Get a nice little bump from behind. Don't think I deserve that, to be honest. And now on the restart you can see that I did get quite close to KO. I'm aware that two positions up ahead in second is Dom, who is the leading heavyweight in this round. I'm not really too fussed about beating KO, but I do want to minimise any points gain that Dom gets in relation to me through the heats, because obviously the aggregate score through the heats determines your starting position in the final race. So the thinking here is let's stay close behind KO and work together. Hopefully we can gain on Dom, which was initially the case, but as the race wore on, KO did begin to start going a little bit more defensive, and we stopped eating into Dom's lead. So yeah, unfortunately not much we can do about that one. See, we crossed the line there in fourth. Not a great result, but you know, there's always tending to be at least one heat where things don't go to plan. Now, I won the lottery for Heat 3, random grid start, random kart, and I got number 6 and started on pole. I've been wanting to give kart number 6 a go for a while now, because it's apparently got a lot of power, and it does definitely have great straight line speed. Unfortunately, in the cooler conditions, it doesn't have very good grip. Adonis is eventually able to slip by us, having stayed pretty close behind from the start. You can see plenty of power down the straight there. You would not normally expect a heavyweight to be catching a lightweight on the straights, but then through the corners we just don't have the grip to apply the power. Pretty uneventful race in the end. We do cross the line in second place. Plenty more points though, we'll take that. It's all very helpful going into the final race. So on aggregate then, we are second place overall on the evening, which means we start in second place for the final. Pretty solid start there. Now they did put this on speed 4 for the final, which I was initially pretty excited about, because you know, kart 6 was the best in a straight line in any case. But as you're going to see on all of these slow-mos, I didn't actually gain that much more straight line speed. I did get a hell of a lot more slipping and sliding in the rear though. And for me, this race was just about trying to prevent the rear axle overtaking the front axle. Plenty of sideways action. most of the track did grip up as the session wore on, but this corner consistently caused me a few problems, more often than not going just as much sideways as I am forward, putting in plenty of opposite lock to try and, you know, keep it pointing in the right direction. But you don't really want to be turning right into a left-hander. It's not the optimal route. And yeah, Adonis did pull away quite quickly. I think he came close to lapping us by the end of the race. And if you'd told me beforehand that I would almost be lapped driving kart number 6, I probably would have gone straight to bed and cried rather than coming out. But there you go. It was plenty of fun. It just wasn't very fast. Here we are again. Look at that. So eventually the race is brought to an abrupt end. Second place overall, and once again the leading heavyweights. So looking good for the championship. I did not Photoshop this image. Dom genuinely is that large, and he's beginning to loom large in my mirrors too. He's getting much faster on pace, so it'll definitely be a threat in rounds to come, but for now we consolidate our position at the top of the heavyweight standings. Thanks for watching, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll catch you in the next one.